A reading from the Holy Gospel according to John. Jesus said to his disciples, "I am the true vine. My Father is the vine grower. He takes away every branch in me that doesn't bear fruit. And every one that does, he prunes so that it can bear more fruit. You are already pruned because of the word that I spoke to you. Remain in me, as I remain in you. Just as a branch cannot bear fruit on its own, unless it remains on the vine, so neither can you, unless you remain in me. I am the vine. You are the branches. Whoever remains in me and I in him will bear much fruit, because without me you really can do nothing. Anyone who does not remain in me will be thrown out like a branch and wither. People will gather them and throw them into a fire. They'll be burned. If you remain in me, though, and my words remain in you, ask for whatever you want, and it will be done for you. By this is my Father glorified, that you bear much fruit, and that you be my disciples." The Gospel of the Lord. I found a story a while ago about a Marine veteran. It's a true story. He had been seriously wounded in combat, requiring a long time in a hospital. He rarely spoke about that experience, though. He chose rather to look forward rather than backward. He didn't let his PTSD or his injury dominate his life. He did not allow himself to be crippled and paralyzed by that. I chose, he said, to live the gospel way. And people came to him, and he comforted them, just so they could understand how someone could live a life alive in Jesus Christ, even though they may be broken. Today in that first reading, it's a powerful reading. It tells you of the fractures that were in the early church. Sometimes we think as everybody got along with everybody else, and why can't our parish be like that? Or why can't our family be like that? Well, Acts of the Apostles today, written by St. Luke, tells us clearly it wasn't always that way. St. Paul comes to them and tries to talk to them, and they're afraid of him because he persecuted Christians. He made sure that they would be executed and punished. They never fully trusted him. Even as time went on, and the reading today, Luke explains so beautifully how the community came to grow, because while many of the apostles, St. James, for example, had a major problem with Paul, many of the apostles stayed in Jerusalem. St. Paul went to all these far-off places, knowing that because Jesus Christ was so important to him, he could not stay in the comfort of Jerusalem with only the people he knew. Christ burned within him, and he had to go out and he had to share the good news. The gospel comes from two German words, gut Spiel, good news. That this Jesus was the Messiah, this Jesus was the Savior, the one who came to tell us that our Father is a loving Father. And people were dramatically changed by his work. Even within the church, they started to believe this wasn't just a trick he was playing on them. They knew he had been changed. I don't know how many of you are beautiful music people here today. And there is a wonderful play. Are you familiar at all? I know you don't get out much, but there's a play, Wicked. How many here have ever seen Wicked or know this? See, I knew it. This is a very avant-garde congregation. Idina Menzel and Kristen Chenoweth were the two leads. It's about two sisters, Elphaba and Galinda. It's how the Wicked Witch of the West got to be that way and how she changed. Let me just read some of the lyrics. I'm limited. This is Elphaba. This is the one who is green, the one who didn't feel good about herself. She said, just look at me, I'm limited. And just look at you. She's talking to her sister, Galinda. You can do everything I couldn't do. So now it's up to you for both of us. It's up to you. I've heard it said that people come into our lives for a reason, bringing something that we must learn. And we are led to those who help us most to grow if only we let them. And we help them in return. Well, I don't know if I believe that's true, but I know I'm who I am today because I knew you. It well may be that we will never meet again in this lifetime, so let me say before we part, so much of me is made of what I learned from you. You'll be with me like a handprint on my heart. And now, whatever way our stories end, I know you have rewritten mine by being my friend. I can't say whether I've changed for the better, but because I knew you, I have been changed for good. God puts people in our lives. He helps us with people who can help us to change, to grow, because they love us. This, in the very beginning, I mentioned the pruning that has to go on. Every once in a while, I like to go to, there's a winery it's in Seneca Lake. It's called Glenora. They make wonderful wine. And if you go there, they have a hotel you can stay at. It's like a motel, really. For those who are furniture devotees, they have all stickly furniture in the rooms. So it's like being in a monastery. It's beautiful, and every room has a bottle of wine, full bottle of their wine. But I remember the one time, right outside, every room has a view outside, either the first floor or the second floor. You have a patio on the bottom and a little, whatever they call it, a porch on the top. And you look out over the winery, over the grapevines to Seneca Lake. You see this beautiful lake. And all the grapevines, usually when if you go at the time when there's actually grapes on them, you get the smell. Well, one time I went expecting and hoping, and it was very depressing because they had pruned the vines right down to like stubs. I looked at it and I said, they're never going to grow. Those are dead. They can pave this now. But the next time I came back, they had started to grow. It takes about 2 to 3 years for them to start to bear good fruit again. It takes time. It takes pruning gently, each one of us. And pruning can hurt. As I said in the beginning, we need people and we need to be people who take one another and we gently know where they're hurting, where they're holding on to past hurts, where they're doing things that are not good for them, where they cannot let go of things that hold them back. Pruning hurts, but in the end, God doesn't expect us really to be perfect. He expects us to rely on divine grace, to be the people we can be with the love of God. Okay, now you all get up now. All right, we're going to pray the creed together.